is lame and absurd, but just a bit. You need to sit back and observe a certified pimp. So oh yes he is. I mean that boy does the shit. He's a mess he is. Fresh to death. Ain't nobody fresh as he is. They can't compare or get next to him because he's so fly. I mean the boy's so clean. From his white tee on down to those jeans. You see the ice in the pinky.
What is good? What is good? So, looks like Senate Democrats have caved in with no concessions on health care. So basically, the Republicans have held strong and gotten what they wanted on a fake promise and a handshake. That's what it amounts to in the Senate tonight. Of course, the vote's not finished, but they've already projected that they got the 60, that they met the 60 vote threshold to potentially reopen the government. We'll see. We will see. We are already at a historic point, being 40 plus days into a government shutdown that is affecting millions of Americans, actually. And if it's true what I'm hearing, if it's true that the Senate Democrats have caved in, I'm highly disappointed. Highly disappointed because how many times before have the Republicans promised, if you just go along with us this time, we promise we'll go ahead and vote, or we'll do this or do that, in a week or in a month or this, that, or the other. And it's never happened. They get what they want, and then they say, hey, Democrats, fuck y'all. That's what we're facing right now. Guaranteed. Republicans are, you know what? I can't even be mad at them. You know how they say hate the player, not the game. Hey, they play the game. They play the long game. They play to win. And they don't give a shit about what anybody thinks or what anybody is feeling or going through. All they care about is holding on to power and basically continuing to guide us into damnation. And the Democrats, again, as a party, have proven that they're weak. They got no backbone. And they all just need to go. Republicans, too. All of these politicians need to go. We need to get rid of every last one of them and start all over, because it's a mess. It's a complete circus. And I'm not just talking about at the federal level. I'm talking about at state and local levels, too. Government sucks all the way around. This is why I'm not a member of any particular party. I don't prescribe to any party politics whatsoever. I'm an American. Can't help that. I was born and raised here. But as far as Republican, Democrat, even independent, because that's a party as well. That's an official political party in this country now. I don't even want to call myself an independent. Oh man, I'm having a tough time tonight. Been down for a couple of days. I've been posting a little bit, but you know, I've been having a real tough time finding the motivation to do anything lately. And I don't know what it is. I would imagine, I guess we all get like that sometimes, but I almost didn't want to do this show tonight, and I spent all week preparing too. I got a lot of stuff prepared. I just don't feel it. You know what I mean? Just don't feel it. I watch different shows throughout the week, and it's always the same bullshit. You know what I mean? And I'm tired. I don't even want to add to that bullshit anymore. Um, I'm sick of it. The politics, the religion, the disgruntled people, it's always negative bullshit that you see on the news, social media, even in the programs, the so-called entertainment shows that we watch, the sitcoms and comedies. It's all focused on negative shit. Why are we as humans attracted to the negative bullshit so much? Why are we attracted to the buffoonery? I often wonder, are we just programmed, to want bullshit in our lives, to want drama? I don't know. But I don't want to contribute to it personally. So I'm not going to contribute to that shit anymore. And hey, people may not watch me because I don't, I don't feed into the negativity, and that's okay. That's okay, because a lot of times I turn on my camera and my microphone, and I just want to talk just to get shit off my chest, just to clear my mind. I spend a lot of time down at the beach and at the waterfront because it's peaceful. And now that I'm older, peace is all I care about, really. It's really all I want is peace. I ain't trying to fight with nobody and argue. I'm not trying to bicker with anybody. I just wake up every day literally thinking, you know what, I'm just going to see what happens, see where the day takes me. And, I think about, doing, these detailed broadcasts, with a lot of content and shit. And then I get down to it and I'm like, I don't feel like doing all that. It's too much like work. And I didn't retire to go back to work. And I've always been an advocate, though, of do what you love. Find something that you love doing and do that. Put your whole heart into that, because that's going to bring you more satisfaction in life than anything. It really, really doesn't matter how much money you make, or how many things you accumulate throughout your life. I think about all the stuff that I've had, that I don't have anymore, that I'm not even interested in anymore. I've had the sports cars and the luxury cars and the motorcycles, and I've had the big house, I've had the little house, I've had the one-bedroom apartment. I've been all up and down the spectrum, and I find that now in my life, that I'm not chasing the bag and not trying to impress anybody with, what I got or status or anything like that. I'm so much happier now. So much happier in my life. Living stress-free. Yeah, I still got to pay bills. I got car note. and insurance, and I still got to buy groceries, and you know, but I'm so much happier now that I am not living that old lifestyle that I was living when I was in the music business, and trying to look like more than what we were, to the public, and trying to impress people with bullshit. You know what I mean? Now, and don't get me wrong, I loved making music, because I felt like music, makes people happy, makes people feel good inside, especially if you can make some good music. But the music that's being put out now, it's just crazy. And let me fix that. The music that's being promoted and accepted now is bullshit. Because there's a lot of great music being put out by some really, really talented artists out there, but for some reason, y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all want to hear the bullshit, the mumbling, and the drug addicted and misogynistic bull crap, that these rappers are putting out now, and it just doesn't make sense to me. That's just not. It's neither entertaining. It doesn't sound good to the ear. But for some reason, the public is eating that shit up, and I know what it is. I know what it is because I was in the industry for a long time. Music is witchcraft. It really is, and most popular music, that really tops the charts is, are powerful spells that grab the people on a subconscious level, and it's a psychological game that the industry plays to get control of people's minds and emotions, and causes people to act in ways that they normally wouldn't act. And it's part of the reason I left the industry too, is because I didn't want to be a part anymore of what was being promoted, to the mainstream, by the mainstream, because it's evil. It really, really is. I didn't think so back then, years ago. I thought, man, it's just music, and people, just taking this shit too far. But as I started to study the industry more, and study how music, how hit songs are put together, and frequencies, that they're recorded on, and rhythms, and cadence, I started to understand. Yes, it's mind control. It really is mind control. And I know a lot of you out there won't believe it, but it's facts. It's facts. Music will take, the right music will take over your mind. And no, not the right music. The wrong music will take over your mind and have you doing things, and have you come all out of character and doing things that you would never normally do, So I was like, you know what? I'm no longer going to contribute to that bullshit. So it just all crashed down for me after that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo. And I was okay with that. I was totally okay with it. I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. And I've been affiliated with some major labels, Sony Records, Warner Chappell Music, Bad Boy, I've done work for them, with them, and I don't know, I just woke up one day and said, I can't do this anymore. And to this day, I still have people asking me, "Yo, Ken, man, you know, you gonna open up another studio, or you gonna, you know, I wanna record with you?" And no, I don't do that anymore. I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't miss it. I don't miss being in the studio one bit. I don't miss working with artists, not one bit. And I'll use this platform though to promote independent artists if they ask me. But I'm not getting out here to make music anymore, and I'm going to be very selective about what artists I promote, because all music's not good music, all money's not good money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just not going to get involved though in the influencing and the brainwashing anymore. Can't do it. I like to sleep at night with a clear conscience, and I can do that. That's one thing I'm very proud of, because all the years that I was in the music industry, I never got involved in the bullshit. You know, I was never a partier. You know, I'm not a drinker, I'm not a smoker, never done drugs of any kind, you know, other than what was prescribed to me by my doctors. And I don't like taking that shit, you know. Never got involved in the after party bullshit or none of that. I basically ran my studio, you know, like a 9 to 5. I went to work, did what I did for the day, and I went home. You know, so I don't know. That's it. I've always lived my life with focus, you know, and purpose. I was never influenced by my peers. Peer pressure is something that I can't relate to. I never understood what that meant. And you know, people, you know, often tell me, you know, Ken, you know, long as I known you, you always did it your way and done your thing. Yeah, that's how I was taught. My father taught me, yo, own your own, do it the way that you want to do it, you know? And that's what I've always done, you know. Even when I was a little kid, Pops always said, yo, you know, you don't do what they want you to do. You do what you want to do. You know, decide for yourself. And so I never gave in to peer pressure, you know, even as a kid, as a teenager, at no time in my life. I was always that quiet kid too. Extremely shy when I was younger. Extremely introverted, I guess you could say. And I'm still a little introverted now. I've definitely come out of my shell a lot, you know, as compared to when I was younger. Definitely not the same guy I was when I was younger. Actually, some might think I'm a little bit outspoken. Some people have called me arrogant. I'm definitely not arrogant at all. Never in my life have I ever thought that I was better than anybody else. Because we all got flaws. Every last one of us have flaws. Every last one of us have done some very fucked up things in life. But I've been fortunate that I've been able to navigate my way through life. And I used to be able to say with all 10 fingers and 10 toes, but I'm minus one toe now, as a lot of you may or may not know. Had a toe amputated a couple of years back due to a spider bite. And But needless to say, life's been a journey, and I've been able to live my life pretty well, pretty well. I wouldn't change anything, wouldn't change a thing. A lot of people I know have regrets in life. I have none, no regrets. 'Cause I feel like everything that I've experienced is something that I had to go through in order to bring me to where I'm at today, to be able to, you know, be comfortably retired, and and don't get it twisted. I'm not wealthy, you know. I'm not rich, financially, I'm not broke either. But I am rich in character. I am wealthy in peacefulness and contentment. You know what I mean? All my kids are grown and they're all doing their things and they got their issues. They all have issues that they deal with on a daily basis, but it's part of life. And I'm there for them, as much as I can be when they need me. I don't butt into my kids' lives, for one. I let my kids live their lives. That's something I learned even before I was a parent. Just let your kids be who they are. You raise them, you teach them, the necessities, and to be able to live abundant lives. But once they're grown, you got to let them fly. Just like those mother birds, they'll feed the kids until they can fly on their own. And once they're flying on their own, forget about them. Let them go. Let them do what they do. A lot of parents, they try to hold on to their kids and try to, force them to go in directions that they don't want to go in. I've never been that way with my kids at all. And I never will be. I'm always I don't care how many wrong decisions they make. You know what I'm saying? It's their decisions to make. I will be there to support them when they need me. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I will love them till the day I die. But they're gonna, as far as I'm concerned, they can live their lives any way they choose. They don't owe me anything, and they just have to continue to learn and continue to grow on their own now. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing more I can teach them. It really isn't. You spend your life pouring into your kids, and then you have to come to a decision where you say, okay, I poured in enough. It's overflowing. Gotta let them go. So now I focus a lot on my grandkids, because they're all still super young and fun. And they keep me feeling fun and vibrant when I'm with them, until I'm not feeling so vibrant and I get tired as hell because they wear me the fuck out. But I wouldn't trade that for the world. My grandbabies, are everything, and but they're gonna get the same thing that they got, or that their parents got, that their mom got. I'm gonna love them, as long as the day is, and I'm going to teach them everything that I can teach them, and hopefully they'll take what's useful and throw away what's useless, and grow into, happy, productive adults one day. Hopefully I'll be around long enough to see some of that or most of that, but I don't know. all I can do is hope. You know what I mean? But my son just reminded me just yesterday. He says, "Dad," he says, "you're not going to have to worry about, anybody in the family remembering you because you have such a large digital footprint, which is something we didn't have when we were young. We didn't have the internet, and Google and all of this, YouTube, so at least my grandbabies will be able to pull up a lot of videos and a lot of pictures of me and my interactions and our interactions, because I take a whole lot of pictures of me and the kids and videos of me and the kids. So they'll have something to look back on and say, man, wow. Hopefully they'll be saying, Pop was a cool guy. That's my hope, They might say, damn, Pop was an asshole. He was mean. But in any case, at least they'll know who I am. You know what I mean? They'll be able to look back and say, man, that was my grandfather. And I'm happy about that. So, I don't know. Like I said, I was going to do this whole choreographed show tonight, and I changed my mind just before I came on. I was like, I just don't want to do it, not like that. I'm not really sure what I want to do, moving forward. It's kind of weird, you figure, you spent all your life doing this, that, or the other, and, and then you get to a point later in life where you feel just like you were when you were a teenager getting ready to graduate high school. I don't know what I'm doing, And but now it's not as pressing, to me as it was back then, I went in the Navy right after high school, because I wanted to, for one. I actually wanted to make a career in the Navy. But I gave them close to 10 years, pretty close to 10 years of my life. And I got out and started my business and started a few businesses since I've been out. I've been out now since 1990. What's that? 1990 was, my math is horrible. 35 years ago, 36 years. It was January 19, or December 30th, 1990 is when I actually left active duty. So, ended up staying a few weeks longer though. Had to hang around because Desert Storm started the day I was getting out, damn near. We were already in Desert Shield, and I think I was home back in Jersey for about a week, and then the war started. Guess who got called back for a couple of months? But it was okay. Did what I did. And here I am today, happy. Not 100% healthy, unfortunately, but grateful for every day. And that's just the way it is. So I'm not going to keep you all tonight. I'm just going to say that whatever you're going through in life, it's going to be all right. If you're not quite sure which direction to go, it's okay. And whatever choice you make, it's okay. You might even make the wrong choice. You might make a mistake and go the wrong direction. But in my opinion, there's no such thing as the wrong choice or the right choice, as long as you make a choice. So Don't beat yourself up over a decision that you have made that didn't take you exactly where you thought it might. It's okay. We're not perfect. None of us are. And nobody can expect you to be perfect. And if anybody does, then, hey, that's their own personal problems to deal with. All you have to be concerned with is what you do for you and how you do it for you, and just deal with it. Deal with your choices no matter what they are. Don't regret them. Just learn from them. If you felt like you made a bad decision, learn from it. Everything we do every day is a lesson learned. So keep that in mind. Until next time, everybody, just be safe out there. Don't let yourself get caught up into this bullshit that we go through in life. It'll drive you crazy. It really will. Just live life, enjoy life, mind your damn business, and let other people mind theirs. Because one thing I know for sure, you can't control what anybody else does or what anybody else says, but you are in 100% control of how you respond. I'm out.